Come.
For the next POI on our POI tier list, Poppin' Pills Factory. It is a tier 5 POI. It's fairly old. It's not one of the first, but it's been around for some time. So, had a few remodels since it first released. It's also very big. So make sure that, like, if you are gonna come in here, make sure you have the ammo for it, because it's huge. In here, there's always cops. It's always cop zombies. You have a little gun rack here off rip, plus a water cooler, some ammo. So, you know, basic stuff to start. Can be pretty useful. Med pile right there. Make sure if you're doing this for a quest, come in here. Open this. There's a spider zombie in here. He is always in here. It is always one of the last zombies that people forget because it's hidden. There's also zombies over here that don't trigger sometimes unless you open the door and like start shooting. So make sure you actually clear everything, because sometimes like you'll forget these little office spaces. You'll immediately run up the stairs and you'll be wondering where the last few zombies are. It's either in that bathroom or in one of these office spaces here. But besides that, once you clear out this area, you just keep moving. Another office space right here, same thing. Usually these get triggered just by walking up here, but always check. Yeah, zombie in there as well. That's fairly new though. I think they used to not have a zombie spawn in there, so make sure you start checking that if you are someone who's played the game for a while. You come over here. The normal way to go is you go down. There's a bunch of chem stations here, so coal, nitrite, things like that if you need it. There is a feral white in here. Always a feral white, regardless of day or game stage, so be careful. As soon as you open this door, there's gonna be like 12 zombies. So make sure you like if you don't want to shoot the book piles in there, because there is some book piles, come back here. And that way you can kind of like shoot them without having to worry about accidentally breaking loot that you want. But yeah, there's some chem stations, there's book piles, so make sure you check it. These also can have meds in them, so make sure you check the med boxes. Then you just come up here. Med pile there, med box there. Come over here. They fall from the ceiling and from the office, so be extra careful. Yeah, there's not too many. It's usually like 4 or 5 when they fall. Let me take care of these assholes. However, this next floor is gonna have a lot. So make sure you are armed and ready, because there are several up here. No matter how many times I try, I'm not very good at stealth, so it is what it is. But yeah, there's a lot of zombies up here usually. I think there's a bit less than normal. Maybe they changed it, but they started spawning from vents as well. You actually can hear them. You'll hear like a little vent noise. I'll see if I'll try and be quiet when I kill zombies just so you can hear them, but okay. I heard a vent noise for a second. Maybe you guys could have heard it, but that vent noise is zombies crawling through vents coming out somewhere. Like these right here are probably where they spawn from. So make sure if you hear that vent walking sound, that like you're ready for them to crawl out of a hole somewhere, because that's what that is. You come down to this floor. There's a little like greenery room. Always has a zombie in here. Always. You can see me. He's gonna throw it through bulletproof glass, huh? Okay. I don't know how that hit me. Chem station's in here. You know the basics. Come down here. He's breaking the door. There is some zombies over here, so make sure you just kill them off real quick. I'm gonna get rid of this guy because he's annoying as shit. This does activate a bunch more zombies. This little key rack here. So be extra careful. It's gonna open this up and that door. And there's gonna be a bunch of zombies in a truck right here. So not too many, but still enough where you should probably just keep an eye out, you know. Don't wanna risk it. This is your first crate that isn't end loot right here. There is several for this POI, which is nice. But they're all gonna be med crates, so if you don't need meds, then they're not gonna be fantastic crates. Right here, be extra careful. You can come over here. There's some spider zombies right here. Yeah, I think if you're doing an infested clear, there's 2 in that. And then there's another pop and pills crate right there. I think it's almost always a pop and pills. So grab that crate and keep moving down. I think if you fall and miss, you can actually land on this and you don't take as much fall damage. They're gonna fall out of that vent right there. Like that. Because they always do. And they actually changed it. It used to be only 1 zombie, but because they added the spawning mechanic, it's now multiple. Another thing you have to be careful for is zombies are gonna hear you from the outside. And so they might randomly flank me and come from the outside right here because you open that door with that key box like that. Actually, I hear him right now. I hear one up there. I think he fell. Did he fall down? Yeah, he fell in the elevator. But yeah, they're gonna come up sometimes and try and flank you, so be extra careful. There's 2 ways you can go, that way or this way. They lead to the same place. There's a food pile here as well as like book piles. So there is scientist zombies over here, as well as a bunch of radiated like that. So make sure you're extra careful and don't just like, you know, running gun everywhere. Unless that's what you like, you know. But there's a lot of zombies. With the new spawning mechanic in the 2.0 update, it may be difficult to sometimes find where they are. There's gonna be a few construction zombies in here and like janitor zombies, so be ready. Then you can press this button. There is a zombie in here. I think they're the irradiated, like, mutated ones. Oh, it's fair way. Okay. I think sometimes it's a mutated. I could be wrong. You have a working stiff toolbox and a sports bag. You have a workbench as well as an ammo pile. So there's a decent amount of loot in this POI. But it is also very big, so I expect it. Here's the 3rd pop and pills crate that you should find. I think it's upstairs. This is the 3rd one that's not at the end loot yet. So you have 3 crates already, technically 4 with the workbench one, and then a bunch of other stuff. So a decent amount of loot. Come into here. You're gonna trigger some zombie spawns from these. These are the vents they're spawning from. They are very annoying. They constantly do it. They will spawn consistently for a little bit. I think it's a set number. I don't know the set number, sadly, but it's several. Especially if you're doing like an infested clear, this is actually a very difficult POI. So if you're doing an infested clear, be extra careful. Because this is very dangerous. You have some cardboard boxes here with potential for like duct tape, things like that, so they're good to search. There is a zombie in, I believe, this room sometimes. Not right now, but I think sometimes there is. There's also a vending machine here that does work for me. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So I recommend checking it out whenever you get down here. You have your regular cooler, your coffee maker, that sort of thing. There's a lot of electrical parts in this POI, so be good with that. Also, zombies right there. They're not triggered yet. I think, I'm gonna double check. There might be a zombie in here. Okay, there isn't. Just want to make sure, because sometimes they like hide zombies in the nooks, and I just want to make sure. But yeah, once you trigger the fight, they're gonna all chase after you. Oops. So yeah, once I shoot one of these, there's gonna be several chasing me, like that. I'm trying to be careful here and quiet. There is a lot of zombies. When you start triggering like them coming from the vents, it can get pretty nasty. I don't know how you got in there. I don't think they're supposed to be in there because that's like not breaking. Don't know how he did that, but it's fine with me. Anyways, this key box opens up to the previous room that you were already in. So it kind of just makes a big loop. Same thing with this one over here. That key box also opened that one. There we go. Now they're released. Took a minute for them to be triggered. Yeah, there is several zombies that are gonna chase after you, so be extra careful here. Sometimes, yeah, you hear that vent sound? That's them crawling through the vents because I killed a couple and they're spawning more. And that's basically what they do. They just constantly spawn more and more and more and more, and it becomes very dangerous. Sometimes their AI fucks up like that, so make sure you're just on the lookout. So you hear that? So, yeah, they're just gonna consistently spawn even after you kill a few. So So make sure you're like constantly ready and keeping your distance, because you're gonna need to reload several times. It's several reloads. Like I'm using M60 right now, and it's gonna be quite a few. And you can see that there's just constantly more charged ones. I am max level, so that's also affecting how many charge spawn, but heard that, there's one behind me. They're just spawning a lot. So just make sure you're ready. Because holy shit. Yeah, and you can hear a bunch hitting walls and shit, because there's a few more. Yeah, hear that. Another one spawned because I killed another one. And so it's gonna be a minute. You're gonna have to just keep shooting and praying until they all die. It takes a while, sadly. If you're spec'ing the snipers, you can actually kill some of these guys pretty quickly, but if you're getting chased by a bunch, you really don't have that ability. Like when, yeah, you can hear it. Yeah, and there's some up there as well that got triggered. We're gonna try and make our way up there right now, but when we go to the right or left over here, be worried. There's gonna be a few in here. There's these two, plus the fat mutated ones in that room to my left, that bathroom right there. So there is a few. I'm also still getting chased by the other ones upstairs. Here's the fat one. Some charged ones as well. Yes, there is plenty of zombies to go around. So make sure you're like constantly ready, because there's a lot. And this is a non-infested quest. You can still hear them spawning in the vents. Because, like, I think it's specific zombies have to die. It's not just when you kill one, they spawn another. It's like, you have to kill specific zombies before they spawn another one. So it's like, sometimes there'll, like, be two left, and you think, oh, the horde's over, and then you kill them, and then all of a sudden you hear the vent noise, and then, like, one more spawns, because they decided that, like, you know, it has to be specific zombies, not just a set number. And my gun's broken, so that's not good. Again, just more after more, wave after wave. Just keep reloading, try and keep your distance, because they do a lot of damage. Oh, hey, Diz. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. How much I hated the Horde days in 7 days. Yeah, I mean, I like Horde nights. It's just, they feel kind of bland sometimes. We have another construction career here, so make sure you hit that. That can be like forged steel, forged iron, nails, etc. Another chem station, so there's a lot of chemistry stuff. I mean, it makes sense. It's the Poppin' Pills factory. It's definitely like a science-based POI. There used to be zombies that spawned under here. I think with the new spawning mechanic, they changed it. There's gonna be a couple above us right now. That's the exit. When you come up here, there should be a few within the offices. Okay, so they changed this POI quite a bit with the new update. Zombies usually could spawn like here. That's the vent they spawn from. Then you come over here. There's some zombies in here, as you can see. There's always gonna be a few on the ground in here. Med station, chem station. There's usually construction zombies over in this corner. And then you have another vent right here for them to spawn out of. So, you know, you have a few spots where they can spawn from. Besides that, there's not too much left to this POI. Let me go kill that one stripper zombie down here that I saw. There you are. Thank you. Anyways, so once you come up here, there's a few zombies just like messing with us. They're not really part of the POI. This is the end loot right here. I suck at this game. So your end loot's on that conveyor belt there. There's like 3 boxes like normal, and the end loot. There's technically a large ammo bag right there and a weapons bag. There's 2 there. The problem is with this POI is that they have you come from here, right? And they set all the zombies up in front of it. So if you really don't want to break that, you need to be extra careful. Like even when I was sniping from that window, I still broke it. So they really love putting zombies right in front of the loot, and it kind of sucks. But regardless, your end loot's up here. 3 boxes in that. There is more electrical parts around the whole place. We saw the chem stations over here, so there's a lot of resources in loot. There is actually 2 more pieces of loot that you can find if you want it. It's optional though. You can come down here into this little vent right here from the end loot right there. You just come down here. I see a few zombies from the outside decided to break in from over here. There's normally not zombies in here, by the way. So I guess like they saw this as a way in, and so they broke in. You come up here, and yeah, they broke in right there. There's a box right there. Then you come up this ladder even further, and you actually have a weapons bag up at the top here. So there's a lot of loot. Hey, Crimson. There's a lot of loot on this POI. Like, it's definitely loot heavy, but I will say it better be loot heavy, because overall this POI is actually, oh whoops, I forgot what to do. This POI is hard. It's fairly hard. Like, if you do an infested clear on the Poppin' Pills factory, pretty much every type of zombie that you saw and like the amount of zombies you saw is doubled. So like this helipad that had like 4 zombies and there were like a couple over here and a couple over here, it's like 15 to 20 on this roof plus, and they're usually all like charged and infernal and shit like that. So like this is a big fight room for you normally. The entrance alone, there's like 25 zombies in here total, and it's just constant. Like every floor is like a fight. So if you're doing an infested clear on this, be extra careful. It's very hard, especially once you get to like the elevator shaft area and then you get down here. There's actually, fun fact, there's gonna be 2 spider zombies in here if you're doing an infested clear. But when you come down here, this area is so close quarters that when you come into like these areas, there's 30 plus zombies sometimes when they're funneling through the vents and stuff. And so it gets very difficult. Another crate in here, by the way. Little secret one that kind of like you have to like actually search for. This is a little secret crate that you're not going to find in any other way, but and a duffel bag here if you want to look at that too. So a lot of loot in this POI, but also a fuck ton of zombies, especially infested clears. So if you're gonna do them, be extra careful. There's a duffel bag in here. This is the bathroom at the beginning where we like killed that spider zombie. I don't search the duffel bags really anymore, especially if I'm doing a POI like this. I don't really care as much about the duffels, but just me. Anyways, what would I rate Poppin' Pills Factory? When it comes to like loot, it has to be S tier. The amount of crates that are just like scattered around this Poppin' Pills Factory is insane. And the amount of chem station, well, that's resources, so we'll get to that in a second. But the amount of loot is actually insane, because there's at least 5 or 6 crates. There's a few weapons bags. It's like there's a lot of stuff here to search if you actually like try to find it. When it comes to resources, I'll give it an S tier as well. There is so many electrical parts. There's so much nitrite and coal with all the chem stations. There is a bunch of everything, to be honest. I mean, even down here, like in this little like downstairs water like logged area, there's like gas and there's ammo piles. Like in here, you have like all these paper boxes for the 1 million paper. Not that much, but still a good amount. You have all the electrical parts from every single piece of equipment, especially when you get like up here where there's a bunch. When you get down here, there's all the server rooms, which has a ton. So there's a ton of electrical parts. And mechanical parts with all the leather chairs. There's a ton of paper. There's a ton of cloth with all the all the couches. There's leather from all the mechanical chairs. And then you just have like, I think there's a few AC units. There's like a couple here. Okay, maybe not as many as I thought there was, which is kind of surprising for a building this size. But maybe that's the one thing they're lacking is mechanical parts, I guess. But even then, like, you still get a good amount of every piece. If you actually like take the time, pop a hacker's candy after you clear this place out and just run through it, you could get a lot of shit. Like, a lot. This probably has like more electrical parts than most other buildings. In paper. So electrical parts, paper, workbench to break down, which gives you, I think, is it, don't you get forged iron from these? I usually don't wrench these anymore, but let me just not be invisible. You don't, but you still get metal. Like, look, you can break all these mechanical parts from that, electrical parts from that, mechanical parts, or electrical parts from that. Farts? Okay. You can't break these, which kind of sucks. Kind of wish you could. But yeah, there's just so much. There's so many resources in this POI. It's actually ridiculous. But it's also one of the hardest, in my opinion. Just because of the tight corners, especially in this like area where you're downstairs. So be extra careful. Be on your guard. When it comes to creativity, I'll give it a good A tier. I like it a lot. Well, I'll give it S tier. It's good. It's very good. I mean, it's super creative. Like, the underground factory is kind of cool. Having like the twists and turns is nice. It's fairly creative. When it comes to horde base potential, that's probably the one place that I probably wouldn't put this too high. Largely because I don't like underground facilities, especially for horde bases. But also because there's just so many ways up. Like, most of this POI, the reason why you can't go in certain areas, like wherever you want, is solely because of the fact that the doors are locked and nothing else. So like, for instance, right, you start here, you go up the staircase, you come over here to like the main room. The only reason why you can't get in here, door's locked. That's it. The door's locked. That's the only reason why you can't skip that section. The only reason why you can't skip this section and go straight into here is because of this wall, which is only like metal, so who cares? And then when you come up here, you go all the way around, then you go down, and then you just have this entrance right here with all these doors that the sole reason why you can't get in from here is because they're locked until you hit the key box. So there's so many just like walls that are just really easy to break through for zombies that if you actually want to set up a horde base, you'd have to horde base prep the entire building, and that's going to take forever. So I'd probably give this like a D tier. Unless you want to take the time to break every single staircase, make sure you can block up every single entrance, and then find a spot to set up a horde base. If you want to do that, go for it. Like, I'm not going to stop you, but I personally would not put the time and effort. And it's just like all the windows that you would want to put a horde base, like this one, you can't, right? Because the big fucking pillar. You're not going to put it right here. I feel like that looks so bad. And then like this place is like raised up several blocks, so then you have to figure that shit out, and it's just not for me. I mean, if you want to make this into a massive horde base, I'm sure you could, like, especially if you're playing with like 3 or 4 people, I'm sure you guys could spend a ton of time just like popping this place and making it amazing. But for me personally, if you're like not wanting to renovate an entire tier 5 POI, like just the entire building, because that's what you're gonna have to do, I wouldn't do it. Because even like this, right, like this connects, or it doesn't connect, but it almost connects. And so it's like, if you build like a fighting position that's connected to like any of these, what's gonna happen is they're gonna break into here, eventually go down here, and they're gonna path their way up. They're gonna find this hatch, like this guy. They're gonna climb up eventually and break it, and they're gonna just find the staircase that leads to you. And so you basically have to zombie proof the entire building, like every staircase up, and it's just so big. I personally wouldn't turn into a horde base. But if you have a group and you want to take the challenge, I would do it. I'm sure it'll be interesting. Like, you can turn any building into a good horde base, but with time and people. But I just personally think this is way too much work when there are significantly better tier 5s and tier 4s that you can convert. So I wouldn't do it personally. So I'll give it a D tier for horde base potential. Overall, I will stop yapping now. Overall, Poppin' Pills Factory, I think, is a solid S tier. It's hard. It's a very hard building to clear, but for the amount of resources, loot, and just like creativity with the building, I can't give it less than. They've changed it a lot over the years, though, especially as they add new blocks and they add like the different zombie AIs and the spawning mechanics. They've changed it a ton over the past like 3 or 4 years. Like this room over here alone, I distinctly remember that they've changed a ton. So they've changed this building quite a bit, but it's still very good. They've definitely, like, you can tell that they've polished this building quite a bit because it's just very well done. Only thing is, bring a lot of bullets, especially if you're doing an infested clear. This one is brutal to complete. But yeah, overall, the Poppin' Pills Factory is S tier.